Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Patam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Bhatarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavandau Punah Punah Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmatacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Beta Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Gukaro Anthakaro Vairukarastan Nivartakaha Anthakara Nirodhitvat Gururitya Vidhiyate Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavati Tamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvataya Mrityave Brahma Vidya Acharyaya Nachiketase Namaha. So, we are in the second chapter of the Kaṭha Upaniṣad, first section and sixth shloka. Lord Death is giving the answer for the question what Nachiketas asked as the third boon what Nachiketas has Nachiketas been given by Lord Death. So I want to make you remember that Nachiketas asked a question as a boon. Can you give me the answer of my question? And this is my question. What is the question? Is there a life for an individual soul after departing from the body? Is there any entity which is free from death and birth? If it is there, please tell me, and also explain regarding the life of an individual soul after departing from the body. So, this question is not from an ordinary mind. Lord Yama was confirmed. He is confirmed that. So he wants to make a test. What is the test actually? He told Nachiketas to go back from this question and ask something other than this question. You please take away this question. And the exams, all the things what he kept for Nachiketas, he passed. Thus, Nachiketas is being rewarded by the answer from Lord Death for his question. And the answer is something, a traditional teaching, and also which is a dialogue between Lord Nachiketas and Lord Death. So, Lord Death is explaining the answer in order to understand for Nachiketas. It becomes a blessing, and it's in the form of a traditional teaching, and we can easily grasp from each and every verse what Lord Death given to Nachiketas. I will read the sloka which we have to see today, and I will give the connection with the previous slogan, and I will give the meaning of the verse according to the Shankara's commentary. It's very important to study any Upanishad based on Shankara's commentary. Adi Shankara written commentaries on 10 Upanishads. One of the Upanishad is Kaṭha Upaniṣad, and we have a commentary on that. And we are dealing the class along with the commentary. Just we are not seeing the word by word meaning of the verse, but we are seeing the answer. We are seeing the meaning according to Shankara's commentary. It's very important in the traditional teachings of Vedanta. Shankara's commentary is important. So I will read the verse which we have to see today, and I will give you the meaning, and we will see the different aspects of the verse by Shankara, what Shankara has given to us. So, sixth verse, that is the verse in order to study today. Okay, I will read and we will see the meaning. Yaha purvam tapasaha jatam atyaha purvam ajayata guham pravishya tishtantam yo bhute pirvyapashyate yetat vaitat. Once more I will read. Yaha purvam tapasaha jatam atyaha purvamachayata guham pravishya tishtantam yo bhute pirvyapashyata yetat vaitat. Yetat vaitat. Indeed, this is that which you have asked me. That we have to we have to join with that. That what you have asked, O Nachiketas, that entity or that thing is this. What is that? Here, the verse is talking about the overlordship and also all-pervading entity. It's talking about its own glory, that this entity is existing in each and every cell in the body and everywhere in this universe. So, remember that we have a statement from the Taittiriya Upanishad. Tat srishtva tadeva anupravishat. The meaning is this. After creating this universe, it entered into that. We cannot take like this. After making a pot maker entered inside this pot, because we are familiar with the product and the maker of the product. But here, the creator and the created is nothing but one. The non-duality is highlighted. There is no separate thing called product. There is no separate thing called cause. Both the cause and the material and the product all are the same. For highlighting this, that everything is one and only consciousness, this verse is being given to Nachiketas. Just remember that whenever we say Tat Srishtva Tadeva Anupravishad, after creating this universe, it entered into the universe. When we say we cannot resemble with the pot and the pot maker. There, the pot maker is different, the pot is different. Here it is not like that. Something without giving up its own intrinsic form, it appeared into another form. If I give you an example, you will be very clear. Surupa aparityagena rupantara apattihi in Sanskrit. Without giving up its own intrinsic form, it appeared into another form. Like, give up the pot maker. Just take the clay and the pot. Clay is made into a pot. Clay never given up its own intrinsic nature. The clay is there inside everywhere in the pot. In fact, the clay is called in the form of, with another name called pot. Clay didn't give up its intrinsic nature, but it appears in the form of a pot. Similarly, gold never gives up its own intrinsic form, intrinsic nature, and it appears into an ornament. Swarupa aparityagena rupantara apattihi. Without giving up its own natural intrinsic nature, it appears into another form. More simple example I will give to you. Suppose a person in a drama or in a movie, he appears in the form of a king. We only grasp with our eyes as a king. But the real king is not there, only an actor being well dressed in the form of a king. And the actor is, which I know, a person who is familiar. So this famous actor who didn't give up his intrinsic nature, who didn't give up his original form, but he appeared into the form of a king in that movie or in that drama. In the same way, the Brahman, the individual soul which we talks, which has all limitations, that all-pervasive, all-pervading Brahman, that almighty Brahman is appearing in the form of an individual soul. In order to convey this idea or this fact, this verse is being given to Nachiketas. Now we will keeping this idea inside. While going through this verse, you keep the idea that the all-pervading Brahman is being understood in the form of each and everything in this universe. For that, very slowly, the truth is being disclosed by Lord Death. He says like this, Yaha Purvam. We take it, this Purvam, in the beginning. At first, in the beginning. One who is in the form of consciousness and what we call Brahman itself came into a form, evolved into a form. In which form it evolved into first? In the beginning, this Brahman came into a form we call the first individual form, Prathamaja or Hiranyagarbha. This Hiranyagarbha is the first individual soul came in the beginning of everything. This is being told here that Purvam, in the beginning or in the creation of this universe, before the creation of universe, this Brahman, the all-pervasive Brahman, appeared in the form of the first individual being. See, Shankara gives a very beautiful example in each and every Upanishad. Very familiar example. Rope and the snake. When a person misses to see the rope due to the darkness inside the room, he himself take this rope into a snake. And this snake is an assumed snake. There is no real snake. There is only a real thing called rope. Due to ignorance, due to not knowing, few factors are there in order to imagine something other than what it is. Now, the idea is very clear. The rope only appeared in the form of a snake. This is the entire creation. Really, the rope exists, but due to the ignorance, due to not knowing what exactly exists there, due to the misconception, I took myself stepping on the rope that it is a snake. Now the snake is assumed in reality, but for the person who don't know the rope, for him or her, the snake is real. Similarly, the whole universe is real for the ordinary people who don't know what is exactly existing. When the locus is not known, The superimposed idea is real. So here also, we have to keep this idea. The whole universe is a superimposed form on this Brahman, on this consciousness. The superimposition happened due to not knowing what is really existing as the base of this entire universe. So here, come to the words now. All these ideas you keep in the mind. Every verse need these ideas in order to understand properly. This Brahman, who is almighty, who is pervading everywhere in the universe, evolved without changing its own nature. Like a gold becoming an ornament, like a rope becoming a snake, like a lump of clay becoming a pot. All these examples, if we analyze, we will see one thing. The material is not changing its intrinsic nature, and it appears in another form without changing its own nature. Whether it is clay, whether it is a rope snake, whether it is gold and its ornament. Without giving its own intrinsic nature, it appears into another form. Here, in order to clarify this whole idea, the whole vision, that non-dual self is the base and the locus of the entire universe, and it is appearing in the form of each and every form, name and form. For that, slowly elaborating the whole vision. Lord that says that one who is in the form of consciousness, who is here told in the name of tapasaha. Here, Adi Shankara, in his commentary, he says that, see, tapasaha jnanadi lakshanad brahmanaha iti etat jatam utpannam hiranyagarbham. Tapasaha means jnanadi lakshanad brahmanaha. Satyam, jnanam, anantam. These characteristics only fit for Brahman. From that Brahman, tapasaha means it should be known as Brahman. Why he is called tapas in this verse? This all-pervading Brahman is called tapas. Why? If you look at each and every creation, total genius we can understand. Total science is there in everything. There is a science in each and everything. That is why we have a study on that. It's not a lump of waste together. When a body is created, we can study because there is an order in that creation. It's not only genius, one can study looking on the creation. If you see a tree, you can see the fruit, you can see the branch, the main stem, the leaves, the root, etc., etc. And there is a study on that. Because something which is intelligently put together will have a study also. There is a science to study. So, we need a big amount of concentration in order to do each and everything. That is why the word tapasaha, the person who has done lot of concentration in order to create this entire universe. If you look each and every part of this universe, we can see the concentration what he has made to create each and everything. That's why tapas. Tapas means, simply I will explain you the word. A person, when you are a person who is in meditation, is called tapasvi. Giving up all the material ideas, giving up all the individual selfish desires, giving up all kinds of individual issues. He just meditating on something which is better than anything in the universe. It's called tapas. We come across this word often while we are studying Upanishads. Tapasvi, one who is endowed with this meditation. Now, I want to convert this meditation to concentration. One who has a single pointed mind while he is creating each and everything. Without this fine concentration, it's not possible to create what are the things we see in this universe. How the nails are jointed in our fingers. How the teeth inside our mouth is being kept. How the nose and the nostrils and the ears are connected. How the brain and the toe and the tip are connected. Everything, there is a science, there is a concentration behind that. Without that creativity, it's not possible a creation to be this much. Achintya Rachana Shrishtihi. Shankara in his Brahma Sutra commentary, he says, it is behind our concept of thinking. How the Srishti is, if you come to know. How the petals are arranged in a hibiscus flower, in a rose flower, in a jasmine flower. They are different, but there is a science, there is an intelligent way of arranging all this together. So the creator is so much genius. Creator have so much ideas about what to create, how to create, where to create. That is why he is being told as tapasaha. From the person who has lot of concentration towards each and everything of creation, that Brahman, from that Brahman, the first individual soul came out. We call him Hiranyagarbha, the first individual soul, Pradhamaja, one who got birth first in this universe. In order to create the universe, it's not that he is the person who born in this, no. Even before the creation, the Brahman, without giving its own intrinsic nature, it evolved into Hiranyagarbha. Now, Hiranyagarbha and Brahman are not separate. They are one. Why? When I use without giving up its own intrinsic nature means Hiranyagarbha and Brahman are one. The actor and the king are one now. Why? The actor itself is appearing in the form of king. There is no separate king from the actor. The rope itself is appearing in the form of snake. There is no individual snake or separate snake from the rope. The pot is nothing but clay. The clay is appearing in the form of a pot. All these examples should convey the exact meaning of this verse. From the Brahman, from the consciousness which has lot of concentration for creating each and every part of the world, from that, the first individual soul is born. We call him Hiranyagarbha. Why? From the Hiranyagarbha only everything slowly comes out of that. Vedanta don't deny any science. Every science have its own limitations. And if you ask, from the monkey only man has evolved, we don't accept that. That idea is only for study in the science. Human being is a separate creation. That is why we have willpower and discrimination, which is not there in any animals in the world. If at all it's evolved from monkeys, monkeys should have discrimination and free will before it come to us, which is not at all there. I am not entering to a discussion of the evolution or the theory of creation and everything. We are focused on liberation. We are not interested to discuss about the creation. We are only interested in liberation, freedom from the birth and death cycle. Because everything is a superimposition on this Brahman. In order to know that, we spend more time. If you enter into a discussion, who evolved first, chick or the egg? There is no answer. And after getting the answer also, there is no purpose. The discussion and the analysis will become futile. You know, who evolved, who came first in the creation, egg or chick? After getting the answer, what is the purpose you have served in your life? This is the question I want to ask you. So don't enter into the useless discussion about the creation. What are the creation? Which came first in the creation? All these things are just to get an account in the Brahman study. In the pursuit of Vedanta, these are all just to keep an account, a formal account. These things happened and everything. When we say everything is superimposed on Brahman, means that's the final standpoint. And also, a superimposition is always according to the mentality of the person who is witnessing the reality. If you keep the rope inside the dark room and keep the rope in a white in color and keep a loudspeaker near to that and make a sound of a flowing of water, and the person, after seeing first time, he will immediately superimpose, there is a water flow in front of me. You know, so superimposition is according to the mentality of the person who is witnessing the reality. That means Srishti, in the Srishti, you can judge a person in different ways. Some people think when you see a person, he is a good guy. Some others will think he is not a fair person to deal. Some people think, oh, he is some merchant or anything according to our own mentality, our own ideas, preoccupied ideas. According to that only, we think about the world and the things around me. So superimposition do not require any superimposition don't require any special rules. It appears in different ways. It happens in different ways. There is no rule in superimposition. So the creation is a superimposed form on the Brahman, and whoever witness the creation in their own ideas, according to that, they can make some understanding and they can make some notes and they can make some records. It's their own ideas. They are not pramana. They are not valid means of knowledge. In order to study in the science, you can study their science, no problem. But when we come to Vedanta, Vedas are the basic fundamental scriptures talking about the creation and the creator and the connection between the created and the creation. When we come to the pramana, all other pramanas will fall apart because it's all partial vision. They cannot answer in a complete manner. If you say human evolved from monkeys, just one question is enough. If it is an evolution from the monkeys, why monkeys don't have the free will? Why monkeys don't have the discrimination? Because when there is an evolution from monkeys, those characteristics, those features which are there in the monkeys should also only in the human being, which is not there in monkeys. So human birth is a different birth. And also we confirm from our scriptures, there are 84 lakhs of living beings in this entire creation. Almost 44 lakhs are being discovered up to this. Yet to discover 40 lakhs of creations, yet to discover. Some will be in the heaven or like a celestial being or somewhere it is. Few are there around us, yet to discover. So we will leave it right now for the time being. Just I am coming to the point. From the Brahman, the first individual form came out and it has a name called Hiranyagarbha, the first individual soul, holding all the names and forms to get created. Keeping inside the stomach all what are the things to be created, that individual form is called Hiranyagarbha. Actually, the word Hiranyagarbha is a Anvartha. Anvartha means the word itself will give you the meaning. Hiranyam, the creation which will be extraordinary. Garbha, womb. Keeping the extraordinary creation in the womb, that person is called Hiranyagarbha. Anvartha Sapnya. In Sanskrit, there is a very beautiful way of explaining. When the name itself conveys the meaning, it's called Anvartha Sapnya. The meaning you can easily grasp from its own name. So Hiranyam, really literally if you translate the Hiranyam from Sanskrit to English, it's called gold. Here I will say extraordinary creation. Different types of names and forms. In whose womb he is called Hiranyagarbha. This Hiranyagarbha is the first individual soul to come out of Brahman or being superimposed on Brahman. Whenever I say there is a creation, means there is a superimposition. Because Brahman never became a limited Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is being superimposed on Brahman. This Hiranyagarbha is the first individual soul who took his birth, or who has been created before the entire universe, before whom Adbyaha Purvam Ajayata. Adbyaha. Adbyaha means water, up water. Akasham, Vayu, Agni, up Prithvi. 5 elements: space, fire, vital air, water, and earth. The real order is space, after that air, after that a fire, and after that water, after that earth. So here, when we read this word in this verse, Adbyaha, it conveys the message that entire elements. And Shankara says that Adbyaha Purvam Apsahidebhyaha Panchabhutebhyaha. Panchabhutebhyaha. 5 elements. Before the 5 elements comes into picture, the Hiranyagarbha came into the picture first. From the Brahman, the first individual soul which is born is Hiranyagarbha. From the Hiranyagarbha, entire creation came out. This is the message this is the message, or this is the exact meaning we have to derive from our verse. So I will read the first sentence again. Yaha purvam tapasaha jatam apyaha purvam ajayata. One who knows that out of this Brahman who is highly focused or concentrated, from this focused Brahman, deep in meditation, from this Brahman, the first individual soul came out, which is also before the 5 elements coming into being. This is the meaning. Even before the 5 elements comes into being, the Hiranyagarbha, the first individual soul, came first from the tapas, from the Brahman. One who knows this. And also, Guham Pravishyatishtantam Yaha. Guham. Whenever Guham means exactly, literally, the meaning is cave. There is only one cave in the individual, every human being. Buddhi Guha. The cavity of the intelligent. More and more when we think, we know that it's a very much less similar to cave, our own intelligence capacity. Buddhi Guha. One who knows that the Hiranyagarbha is nothing but Brahman, and the Hiranyagarbha comes out of Brahman, Before all these 5 elements comes into picture or being, and next sentence, I am going to say the meaning. Guham pravishya tishtantam yaha bhudepihi vipashyata. Guham pravishya. Pravishya, having entered. Guha, buddhi guha, hridaya guha, inside the heart or inside the intellect. Buddhi guha, because the whole Vedanta is just dealing with the correction of our vision, which is inside, not outside. There is a miscognition happened for me due to ignorance, due to not understanding. I need to correct here, not outside. Outside, it will be always in the form of a pot. We have to see the clay himself without changing its nature. It's appearing in the form of pot. The correction should be inside the head, in the intellect, or here in the heart. Either way, it's okay. By heart. When we say to memorize something, what a beautiful word, You keep everything inside your heart. Actually, it is inside your intellect, correct? By heart. So either way, it's correct. Buddhi guha means you can take into intellect or you can take into heart. Because Vedanta is nothing having the discrimination of what is real and what is unreal, and having that vision of real and correcting the erroneous notion, a misunderstanding which happened here. So Vedanta is working inside the head or here, heart. That is why it's called Buddhi Guha. Whenever you see Guha, cave, inside the intellect, inside the heart. Pravishya, having entered into the heart, Tishtandam, who settled there, who is residing there. For the sake of meditation, we have a location whenever we come through any one of the Upanishads. When it talks about there is a location for this all-pervading Lord. Actually, there is no logic on that. When something is all-pervasive, how can you give a location? He is available here. When he is available everywhere, how can we understand that Tishtandam, he is residing in the heart or in the intellect? That is for the sake of meditation, for the sake of understanding. In a formal way, it is told here. Okay. Because mind is familiar with the locations. When you say to the mind, it is there in the heart. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrideshe Arjuna tishtadi. After talking about the world and the creation and the non-dual self, even Lord Krishna says this sentence in Bhagavad Gita. O Arjuna, this all-pervading Lord is settled in the heart of each and every living being. That's only for the sake of understanding or only for the sake of meditation. Guham pravishya, in the cave of intellect, in the cave of heart, having entered, Bhudebihi, along with the elements. When something is all pervasive, each and every cell of the body is nothing but this non-dual self. Each and every cell, each and every particle, each and every molecule, each and every atom, everything is nothing but Brahman. We are not separate from anything. Everything is nothing but Brahman. When we know this, we don't have any problem of hatredness or attachment. There is nothing to be hate. There is nothing to be get attached. When everything is non-dual self, who is appearing in the form of an enemy, who is appearing in the form of a friend, who is appearing in the form of different names and forms. It's a non-dual self. This name and form is just a superimposition on the very self. So here it is told, along with the elements, elements means 5 elements, one who is in the form of elements, one who is in the form of Hiranyagarbha, and that Brahman is entered into the cave of intellect or in the heart. Etat vaitat. This is that what you have asked to me. The thing which is not subject to death or birth, the thing which is appearing in the form of different names and form, the thing which is centered, which is settled in each and everybody's heart or intellect, the thing that is in the form of different elements, akasham, space, vayu, air, then akasham, vayu, vayu or agnihi, akasham, vayu, agni, fire, and the water, and earth. All these 5 elements are nothing but this non-dual self. So one who knows that, the person who knows that this individual form is nothing but Brahman, and from the individual form, what are the things came out of in the form of creation, that is also Brahman. And this individual soul is not separate from the Brahman. So too, these 5 elements also not separate from Brahman. And one who wants to know this Brahman, who can meditate on the heart, on the intellect, it is available in the intellect. How we can, it is available in the intellect? By listening the classes. If there is a correction, correction is not a serendipity. It will not happen somehow in the way of life. Correction should happen by the advice of another person. Because normally, for an ordinary person, the correction is not something happen in the life without anybody's advice or anybody's instruction. That is why traditional teacher and scriptures are important. So whenever we say Buddhi Guha, there is a correction by the traditional teacher or the scriptures. They play a crucial role. Because of them, I get the correct understanding which is occurring inside my intellect or in my heart. I understood properly, so I correct. My vision has changed looking at the external world. We have a different level of thinking while after studying the scriptures. After studying the scriptures, a learned person will have a different level of vision. the attitude will be different. When an ordinary person, without knowing the reality, he will be very selfish. He will have enemy and friend. He will have a lot of individual desires in this material world. He find actions are the most valuable thing to achieve the different things in the world. But ironically, the wise person will be freed from all kinds of actions, because actions are only meant to achieve which are going to have an end. There is no something which is eternal and which cannot be gained by actions. So there is no eternal thing which can gain by action. Knowing this, the learned will retrieve from the actions. He will not be selfish. He has expanded his vision towards everything. Everything is nothing but this non-dual self. Why should I hate somebody? Why should I love more than other person? There is no hate. There is no love. There is no inferior level of thinking. There is no superior level of thinking towards looking somebody. Everything is one and the same when we see the reality. The picture is clear. Etat Vaitad. That eternal Brahman is the base of Pradamaja, the Hiranyagarbha, the first individual soul. That Brahman is the base of 5 elements also, and who is available in the cave of intellect or in the cave of heart. One who know this, know the reality. Etat Vaitat. Oh Nachiketas, this is the thing which you have asked through the verse. Anyatra dharmat, anyatra adharmat, anyatra kritacha akritacha, anyatra bhudacha bhavyacha, yat tat pashyati tatvata. What you have asked through this question, this is the answer which is inside the intellectual cave, which is residing inside the cave of intellect. It means that there is a correction in the intellect. Once you correct that this is a rope, not a snake, that's all. All problem has solved. The correction should happen by a person, because correction normally happen in its own way. You cannot think that once in my life I will correct everything. No, it will not happen. In order to get the correction, the scriptures work overtime for you. The traditional teacher work overtime for you. At last we get corrected. That is why whenever you see the intellectual, the cave of intellect, the cave of heart, it's only the knowledge is, the real knowledge is the solution to take out all erroneous notion. The knowledge take place only in intellect or in the heart. That is why it is available inside the cave of intellect. More we will see in the next class in entering to the new slogan. Okay. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Gobrahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshadu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shajini Deshoyam Kshobarhitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbayaha Sarve Bhavantu Sukinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschat Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamitam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vaishishyate ഓം ശാന്തി ശാന്തി ശാന്തി. ഹരി ഓം. ശ്രീ ഗുരുഭ്യോ നമഃ. ഹരി ഓം.